This is Writing Daily with Devin. I am Devin, and every day we talk about writing about some form or another, some sort of a facet. And we're doing that today. We're going to be talking about memoir. We talk about memoir with some degree, in part because I am the author of the forthcoming book, 10,000 Miles with My Dead Father's Ashes, a memoir, as well as the editor-in-chief of In the Know Traveler. So welcome from wherever you're coming, whether you're seeing me live or whether you're checking me out on some sort of, YouTube or iTunes or something like that. Welcome. It's great to know that you're here. And Bruce, good to see you. Kate, wonderful. And so every day we talk about writing. If you like what I'm doing, please consider hitting the like button or whatever thumbs up kind of thing that you do. That lets me know that I'm on the right track. But welcome today. I'm grateful to have you here. And so I've had a kind of interesting few days. One of them, or part of what's been happening, is people have been writing me independently to sort of ask me about memoir. And really what it comes down to is it worth it for you to start writing a memoir? You have a story to tell, it's itching to be told, but it's kind of weird or uncomfortable. And how do you start it? And why am I doing it? And I think, I want to give you some big sort of grandiose answer, but I think the main answer is if you really have a story that's burning inside of you, I think you need to write it down. That's whether or not you have an MFA or you have no writing background at all. I don't think it really matters. I think what matters is getting to the truth of it. Matter of fact, tomorrow we are going to be having the author of this book, as well as a number of others, Gail Brandeis. I'm covering her name with my hand, The Art of Misdiagnosis. I'm actually about halfway through. You can even see my bookmark there. She is a crazy talented writer, and she was one of the people that I briefly worked with when I was getting my MFA at Antioch University. She's like a super smarty, so I'm really excited to have her on the show. But one of the things that I notice about her work, Elizabeth, welcome. One of the things that I notice about her work is that she leaves no stone unturned, and she dives into secrets. And so this is one of the things that, when people have been asking me about writing, it's like, I think that's one of the things that you have to accept as a writer, that especially if you're going to be writing a memoir or something like that, you're going to have to tell on yourself. And you're probably going to have to tell on yourself a lot. I would personally frame it more from it's about me, in terms of a memoir versus the people that are surrounding you. You may have to give up a little bit of their secrets as well. But I mean, that's part of the deal. Part of the deal is that, I had to sit my mother down. I've told this story a million times, that I had to sit her down and say, okay, I wrote this book and nobody looks great. You know what I mean? I didn't write a book of compliments. Really what I did was I wrote about all the things that were really challenging for me to discuss, things that were really uncomfortable. Gail, as an example, does a lot of that in her book. And I'm really impressed by her willingness to sort of, like, for lack of a better description, to go there, to write about the stuff that is difficult, that's challenging, that I think the catharsis in terms of writing comes from this notion, for me anyway, that it is coming from the truth. It's not from the truth that you're hoping somebody else will believe about you. Even if that's true, it's sort of like your truth, your pain, your discomfort, your foibles, your frailty. I think those are the things. And the reason why that's important is because even if nobody identifies with the very specific essence of what you're writing about, in other words, let's say if I was a baseball player and I'm writing a book about me being a baseball player, you don't have to be a baseball player to connect to the facts of the life of the baseball player. So, I guess what I'm saying is you're touching on notions of universal themes. You're touching on ideas that are close to home, things that really mean something to you. Now, that said, anytime we start writing about things that really mean something to us on a deep emotional, spiritual level, in all likelihood, we're probably going to have to confess something that is uncomfortable uncomfortable. We're probably going to have to confess something that we might have even at different times in our life said, well, nobody is going to know about that thing because it's scary, or it terrified me, or it makes me uncomfortable, or I don't want to have to even admit or acknowledge this truth about myself, but I'm going to do it for the sake of the story. And that's a lot of this sort of the thought process that I had to go through. You know, a matter of fact, I saw a friend of mine who's actually a really wonderful writer. She's actually far, far ahead of me in sort of like her own writing universe. And, you know, she said, well, how do you go about writing a memoir? And it was kind of like, I wanted to say, yeah, but you already know this. And she does. She totally does. But I think sometimes what we need, and part of what I want to be offering those of you who are thinking about writing your memoir, is that this is a pep talk. Part of writing a memoir is making sure that you get pep talks from people who love you, or writers who are your friends who are going to be on your team. So, because it is hard and it's lonely, and you're going to be digging up things like, you know, when you start writing, it's easy to say, well, this terrible thing happened to me, right? That's the one sentence. But nobody's going to buy your one sentence memoir. What you want to do is be able to dive into those difficult moments and allow it to all bubble up to the surface. And even when you say, well, I can't really say that, can I? No, you sort of have to. Now, keep in mind, you know, there's second drafts and third drafts and 10th draft. So you'll be able to revisit things that may come across as mean or unnecessary. You know, that's possible. But I think the end result is that you want to lend your story as much truth and exploration as possible, and impart, so that people reading your book who may not identify with you as your specific profession or you as your specific religion will still be able to carry with them sort of like the humanity and the humanness of what it is that you're doing. Elizabeth, welcome, and April, welcome. So anyway, as always, if you like what I'm saying, you like what I'm doing, please consider hitting the like button. You know, you can always join. By the way, I'm now on iTunes and Stitchers and Google Play and a whole slew of other things. And matter of fact, I'm doing a lot of podcasts right now, the other people's podcasts. So that's kind of like a fun, interesting, different thing. But the thing for this podcast today, just know if you are looking to write memoir, certainly read memoir. That's probably my number one big tip to you, is actually read other people's memoirs and see where they're coming from and see how they do it, and take the things that you like that they do and kind of put them in your pocket, and the things that they do that you don't like, just forget about it. Don't worry about it. Everybody has their own style, their own voice, their own way of working through these difficult processes of writing these really personal narratives. So anyway, again, tomorrow, we're going to, if all goes well, I'm going to have the fantastically talented Gail Brandeis on, and we're going to talk all about her process and really anything she wants to talk about, if I'm honest with you, because I think I'm a big fan. I think she's a wonderful writer and an extraordinary talent. So anyway, that's what I've got for today. Just be true to your story. Keep writing daily. If you're looking at writing a memoir and you're going, wow, how am I going to do that? You write one word at a time, one sentence at a time, one paragraph at a time, and one page at a time. And you keep writing daily. You keep, going through this as best you can, best of your ability. And as always, keep writing daily. Anyway, that's what I've got for today. Thanks for joining me. And I will look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. And thanks for joining me. Take care.